And most probably I'm live. So please, guys, tell me if you can see us. Well, you already know me, so I need to see myself on my phone. There we go. Wonderful. So hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Christina, and this is the Truth Runners Talk Show. Today, I am very, very happy and very grateful because I have a special guest with me. Her name is Sarah Chave. Welcome, Sarah, to the Truth Runners Talk Show.
Hi, Christina. Thank you so much for having me on your show today.
Thank you for joining me. Today, we are going to talk about creating the new Earth. But before we go on, I would love to introduce Sarah for those who don't know her yet. Sarah has worked as an energy medicine practitioner for nearly 20 years, working online with both individuals and groups, working mostly with a Chinese medicine-based system called Accunect. Over the past few years, she has felt called to be part of the birthing of the new Earth, supporting a future that is heart-led and a reflection of a soul's acquired wisdom and deep connection with Mother Earth. She and her family are currently in the process of going off the grid, exploring new and also very old ways of being, cultivating a right relationship with nature, the environment, and the spirit. She has been honored with the role of Global Wellness Ambassador at the Global Wellness Summit 2022 and is excited to continue her work in the community and across the globe to create New Earth. She is the host of New Earth podcast, where she interviews experts who are supporting humanity through our current times and leading the way to a better future for all of us. Sarah has been recently appointed an International Ambassador for Portugal for the People's Health Alliance, and I would love to congratulate you for that.
Oh, bless you. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. So Sarah, she's an exceptional woman, and I say we just go diving deep in. If you guys have any comments or do you have any questions, please feel free to ask us during the show. If you are watching this in the replay, also feel free to put your comments or, your little hearts and likes. That would be much appreciated. So Sarah, I know that you work with energy healing, right? Based on the Chinese medicine, right? Which is called Accunect. What exactly Accunect means and what do you do?
Well, the word Accunect came from acupuncture and connect. The words connect, they combined the two words. And that's because Accunect is a Chinese medicine-based therapy. The co-founder of Accunect, Dr. Chave he had an extensive training. He's a doctor in acupuncture, so a lot of the wisdom has come from that knowledge, but it's become much more extensive. So Chave was very interested in recovering the spiritual roots of Chinese medicine, a lot of which got lost. So when we're working with the meridians, for example, we're not just working with getting the energy to flow, we're also working with the intelligence, so that all the organs have an intelligence, and that's to do with their function. So, things like planning is a function of the liver. So if we're having issues with planning in our life, it may be to do with the issues. So if we're working with the consciousness of planning, we can work with it on all levels, both physical, mental, and spiritual, because obviously planning has a role in spiritual transformation, in moving us forward so that we can grow. So it's a very holistic therapy. And, we're not just working with things to do with Chinese medicine, we're working with beliefs, we're working with memories, we're working with all kinds of things. So it's very, very deeply transformational work.
Wow, that's interesting what we're saying. You said that organs have their own,
consciousness.
Yeah. That's the word. Organs have their own consciousness. What do you mean by that? Because, for example, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? I know that when you're angry, anger goes to liver, right? or I'm wrong?
That's exactly right. From a Chinese medicine point of view, you have 5 elements,
Mm-hmm.
and all the organs relate to one of those 5 elements. So, for example, the gallbladder and the liver relate to the wood element, and that is to do with anger. The spleen and the stomach is the earth element, and that's to do with worry. So those are the emotions of the organs that we also work with, balancing those emotions. You know, because often we can, if we're not processing our emotions, we can be storing, you know, the emotions in our body, and then it becomes a kind of chicken and egg situation. For example, you know, if someone's a worrier, it is saying to that person, stop worrying, doesn't do anything, because what actually happens is the worry starts to weaken the spleen energy. And if you have weakened spleen energy, you tend to worry more. So it goes in a cycle round and round and round, and it's very difficult to get out of. So the only way of working with it really is by addressing the imbalance in the emotional imbalance and the imbalance in the energy of the spleen. So that's the kind of level that we're working with consciousness, not only with emotions, but with beliefs and consciousness aspects, like I mentioned before, things like planning, courage, you know, all different kind, depending on the function of the organ, you know, as to what we'll be working with.
Wow, that's very interesting. You said what you are saying is that you technically work with these trapped emotions in the body, right? You have kind of balancing them. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no,
And
that's
then,
correct. And one of the things that we really work with is stress, because you know, you can pretty much guarantee that behind any kind of dysfunction in the body, stress will be behind that. And the body can tend to go into fight or flight nervous system. And when it's in fight or flight nervous system, we can tend to get behind on healing. Because what happens when we go into fight or flight nervous system is the energy goes away from things like the digestive system, the immune system. It goes into the arms and legs because it's getting ready to run or flee or fight or whatever it is. So then you don't have so much energy in the core body to digest the food, to fight infections, things like that, which is fine if you need to run a race or fight. But if it's just because the mobile phone's gone off, or, you know, there's so much in our life, so many stresses in our life that trigger us into fight or flight, then what can happen is we're not spending enough time digesting our food and fighting off infections, and we get behind on healing. So a lot of the work that we're doing is actually bringing people back into rest and healing, so that the body can actually, you know, we replace so many cells every single day, and basically the body can start doing all that repair work and healing work when it's in rest and healing. So you know, a lot of the work we're doing is bringing the nervous system out of fight or flight into rest and healing.
wow, that sounds really, really amazing, because what you do is you combine psychology really with the, you know, with the acupuncture. And it's like kind of why, okay, correct me again if I'm wrong. I've never had an Accunect therapy. It's like when your client is lying on the bed, okay, and you do the acupuncture, but in the meantime, you are talking to them, or they talk to you mostly, I guess, right?
Well, the work that I do, it's like acupuncture without needles. We don't actually we don't actually work with needles. So how we work is we use biofeedback. So this establishes a communication with the body mind. So it establishes a yes and no response, which is really ultimately a way for me to check in with my intuition, which is obviously, you know, becomes fine-tuned all the time because I'm working with it. It's not foolproof, but it's, you know, it kind of it develops with doing this work. And then we use a health map, and this enables us to navigate around the body mind to find what it is that needs to be balanced. So you know, we could go, for example, in the liver, we could go right down to a cellular level and be working with, say, the mitochondria in the liver. but we can also be zooming right out, and we can be working with planets, we can and the archetypes within an individual and how perhaps those have gone out of balance in relation to each other. We could be working with specific traumatic memories. We could be working with inherited patterns, ancestral. We also work with epigenetics, so shifting the energy around the cells to work with the DNA and shifting on that level. So it's very, very extensive and powerful work.
I'm loving it, because what I'm hearing you saying is that you actually really do work with body, mind, and spirit all together. It's not like it's separated. So it's really, really a holistic approach, and I'm absolutely loving it. I'm loving it. What made you choose, Accunect actually?
Well, I didn't start out wanting to be a therapist. I've worked in this field for about 20 years, but I actually started out wanting to be an artist, and that was my background. Yeah, I trained in that. I used to do a lot of portrait painting, actually. When I was sort of in my late 20s, I had a couple of very traumatic losses. I lost both my baby and my fiance very traumatically and very suddenly. And all the coping mechanisms that had served me till that point failed completely. And I found myself withdrawing from life. And basically I went on a spiritual quest looking for something that might help me, and I tried many things, acupuncture included, counseling, so much stuff. And it was really the energy medicine that made the shifts for me. And I think that was because it works on all these different levels. And I actually trained in something called Body Talk initially. And the co-founder of Accunect, he was like the vice president. He was very high up in Body Talk, but he got to a place where he realized that he wasn't really teaching Body Talk so much anymore, because he was really sort of learning his own way, and he decided to with his wife Sarah set up a new system. So I was actually living in New Zealand when I discovered Body Talk, and I learned it with Kaimi. So when he left to set up his own system, it kind of made a lot of sense. I'd kind of learned Body Talk the Kaimi way, and so it made a lot of sense for me to train in that, and I just really loved it. It's a very heart-based system. That's one of the things that I really love about it. It's, whilst you do need to learn, a lot of information, it's really about coming from your heart, and it's ultimately the premise behind it is quite Taoist. The idea, one of the things that the Taoists believe is that the root of all disease is separation from the Tao. So the Tao could be classed as all that is, the way, consciousness, this is something that with Accunect that they really take on board, this idea of reconnecting. So reconnecting with our authentic self, reconnecting with how we interact with others, so that we start to have, good relationships, and reconnecting with spirit or divine consciousness, all that is really, and also reconnecting with nature. So that has really informed my work, and actually, that's been a big, it's very much part of my journey anyway. With the losses that I went through, it was through my, deep connection with spirit that I found during that time. That was ultimately what got me through the difficult times. But then when in Accunect, it was kind of quite central to the whole therapy. It really resonated with me.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And you know why I thank you? Because you just confirmed, and I had so many people talking lately. They said, reconnecting with myself, reconnecting with my heart, reconnecting with the nature and with the spirit actually helps the healing process. Because, okay, we know every healing is self-healing, but really reconnecting with who you really truly are and your heart. So I'm absolutely loving what you are doing. And our team today is creating the new earth. And by reconnecting with ourselves, reconnecting with the heart, with the spirit and with the nature, this is how we actually can create the new earth from within, from inside out, right? And what you are doing, helping your clients or the people you are working with to reconnect with themselves, through this through this method. It's really, I wouldn't really say a trend because they are really, really old. Returning to who learning to use our powers in proper way.
Yeah, Christina, you cut out a bit my end. So I'm sorry if I'm not answering your question. I'm just going to talk to, what the subject is, which is the heart and New Earth. I hope you can hear me. You've actually frozen, so I'm hoping that I'm still with you.
There we go.
We're back. So I'm just going to carry on, Christina, because I didn't hear your question, but I'm just going to talk to this idea of how the heart connects with building New Earth, and for me, it's really, really important because I think we've lived in a world where we've all become disconnected. It's part of the I'm not sure if I've lost you again, Christina. It's all broken up. Are we back?
Yes, apparently I'm having issues with my internet connection. So guys, please bear with us. I do apologize, but there's really nothing I can do about it. So when did you lose me, or when I lost you? Because I don't know.
I wasn't sure if I'd lost. I was, so I stopped talking. Sorry. Yeah. So basically, the journey of connecting with the heart, because when we connect in with our heart, we're connecting in with our authentic self. It's that aspect of ourself that is connected to all that is. And if we operate from that place, it's going to be much more aligned with nature. It's going to be much more aligned with spirit, and it's going to be much more aligned with our purpose, our life purpose. Because I think, part of the thing that's happened in the world, certainly over recent years, but possibly over decades, is that we've increasingly become disconnected from ourselves, with technology, with the, going to work, traveling to work, living in big cities, all this stuff. We've moved away from sort of being in local communities, where the community helps, and it's much more of a heart-based sort of operation. So, I think it's the first step for everybody, really, is that journey back to themselves and that reconnecting with the heart. So in a way, lockdown, did give an opportunity to do that, because I think part of the world that we've lived in, there's been so many distractions. We can go to the movies, the theatre, go out for drinks, whatever it is, to just kind of keep ourselves busy. But then in lockdown, we were all just kind of stuck at home, and there's only so much kind of distraction you can do before it comes to a place where we need to look at ourselves, and we need to kind of really figure out, what's going on within, and really kind of reconnecting with ourselves. So lockdown was a fabulous opportunity to do that, and for me, it was really the first step in that transition for us all to start, coming back to ourselves and operating from a new place.
That's nice because, I believe that everything happens for a reason. So lockdown also happened for a reason, and the reason was exactly to reconnect. And we have Reverend Jocelyn saying that this is good stuff. Thank you so much, Liz. Yes, I know Sarah shares with us brilliant stuff, as you would say. Express has said reconnecting with the self is very important nowadays, especially after the pandemic. Exactly, that's what Sarah was talking about. So I would love to ask you, you recently moved to Portugal, right? And you mentioned, I mentioned when I introduced you that you are going off the grid. What does that mean exactly, Sarah? That you are going off the grid and trying to create a new earth, really.
Well, we'd had this vision for quite some time, to be honest, but I think for us, the whole lockdown, that kind of really spurred us to, get on and realize our dream. And my partner, he is a gardener, so he'd always managed large estates. So part of it was this idea of that he could we could get a large piece of land and he could manage the land. So the vision is to grow our own vegetables, have chickens, start becoming as self-sufficient as possible. But what actually happens is, it's a journey. This is what I'm discovering. The whole becoming self-sufficient is a journey. So, we've had solar panels put on our house, and we are moving towards going off grid. We're not fully off grid yet. It's a journey. We want to get batteries fitted and work in that way. We also built a chicken house this year, and we have 6 chickens. We're hoping to get more. So that's a beautiful journey as well. It's really beautiful for the children as well. They're really loving that. And I would love to say that we are sort of growing all our own vegetables, but the thing is because we've had so many projects. The irony is that when we were in the UK, we used to grow more of our vegetables than we do now, but we're still in the early days. We're still building the vision. But what we have done is, the community here, people have moved here for the same reason. People have moved here from all over the world, actually, to move off grid, become closer to nature, grow their own vegetables, be in a community. So you have this sense of really like-minded people working together. So that's incredibly healing and beautiful. And one of the things that we've set up is like a buying group, so that we're making direct contact with suppliers, so that we know where our food's coming from. Like we've got someone that contact with someone that provides grass-fed cow, that basically feeds the whole community. And we've got, more staple goods that we couldn't really grow ourselves. So rather than going to the supermarket, which I'm slowly cutting back, it's kind of trying to limit going to the supermarket, and increasingly we're finding ways to find that resource ourselves in our community. So that's the vision that we're all working towards. And it's also a shift, in your whole way of being, because it's a real sense of slowing down. I mean, I'm actually quite busy still with my work, but, in terms of we live very rurally in nature, and, we don't have those distractions. There's kind of your community is your whole social, there's nothing really outside of that terribly much. So, I really like that simplicity, to be honest. It's, that's enough for me. I don't feel the need to be going into the city, and things like that. I'm quite satisfied with, really settling into this new way of being, and supporting each other in the community. I think that's a real key for New Earth and what we're moving into. We're moving out of that sort of competitive approach. And I think the way forward is how can we collaborate? How can we work together? And that brings you to your heart, that whole working with the community. And that community can be online. I mean, we've done some fabulous things together. Christina, you've organised some incredible events. And there is that sense of heart-based connection, with all the participants, and that feeling of everyone working together, which is what I really love. So
thank you so much. It's brilliant that you are saying that. What I'm loving is that you are talking about community and about collaboration and about helping each other and eliminating, competition. And really, really, I think this is becoming more and more important to the majority of the people, because it's not, the shift is happening not just within us, a few, it's happening worldwide. So it's everywhere. People, they are or they are not conscious about it, the shift is happening. And really embracing that vision and moving towards it, that's absolutely brilliant, because I know many people like you, for example, who said, okay, I'm just going to leave the city and I'm going to move, I don't know, maybe on a countryside or a different place, maybe it can be a different country like you did. And I'm going to learn, because I grew up in a city. I don't know how to do that, but I'm going to learn to be a farmer. I may never saw a chicken in my whole life, but that's okay, because I'm going to learn how they look like and how to grow, and how to take care of them. And this is really, really amazing. And what you've been saying is, in community, you can trade. Okay, I have this, you give me that instead. So it's an exchange.
That's the thing, and I think that's the way forward, not just with food, but
Mm,
with everything. This
with
idea of
everything.
trading and what have I got a value that I can offer to you? So there's much more that connection through that, because it's and there's a valuing, of the different offerings, rather than it just being a money kind of exchange. It's really beautiful.
Oh my God, I'm loving what you're saying. Reverend Jocelyn said, community and collaboration is paramount. The heart connection is everything. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, we are all about that, really, and I'm really, really happy. And I would love to touch base a little bit about, I'm going to switch from creating news. However, it is connected
I
maybe
will
with the,
just talk a little bit more if it's okay. So
yeah,
about creating new earth, because I actually got nudged by spirit. 'Cause we'd had the vision to move to Portugal, but um, I was being very nudged by spirit to start a group called Creating New Earth, and I kind of settled in and asked, what is this about? And when I've run groups before, I've always kind of taught, and I've sort of stood at the front in a way. And what I got was there's no topic, it's a total co-creation. It's like you're going to be working with people with and co-creating. So it was kind of really out of my comfort zone because people started enrolling and I didn't even know what it was, but it's unfolded so beautifully. Funnily enough, it's all women that have joined this group.
oh,
And we've ended up exploring different aspects of consciousness. So this month we're going to be exploring the divine feminine. So looking at aspects of ourselves that have been wounded through the culture we've lived at, our feminine aspect. And next month it will be the masculine. But we've worked with so many different, we've worked with freedom, we've worked with abundance, we've worked with so many things. And what's really beautiful in the process, because it's not me standing up the front, because it's a real invitation to co-create, and by us all sort of looking and observing together and healing together, it really increases the potency of the healing, because we're all adding and we're all observing. So it becomes much more powerful because there's much more intention behind it. But what's been really beautiful is that there's some members of the group who aren't healers, they're not therapists. A lot of them are, but a lot of them have just come, felt drawn to it. And I've been kind of led to those individuals during the healing, and they've contributed and have made such powerful contributions. So it's about us each finding our own voice within that framework, valuing each other's what we're offering as individuals, and knowing that we're all healers, that we're all got this innate healing ability, all of us have, to heal ourselves and to be held within that kind of healing space. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that just before we moved on off subject, just to kind of really explain why I felt so drawn. It was a nudge from spirit, but then through working with this, this idea of creating new earth has become more and more present in my life, not just through the lifestyle shifts, but through the consciousness shifts that I've been working with groups really and individuals. So that is an online group. So if anyone feels drawn to, then do reach out, because we'd love to have some new people. It's a rolling group. People can join and leave at any point. And it's just once a month. So anyone that feels drawn, it would just be so wonderful to have you in the group.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Sarah. So guys, if you feel that at least you want to try it out, please join Sarah, contact her, see if it's for you or it resonates. Just try it out. I guarantee that you will like it, but just please try it out, because what I'm hearing you say is that you are actually sitting in circle, as Enonia would say. So it's everybody's equal. And I love what you said about healing. Yes, everybody's a healer. Every healing is self-healing, and people, we need to understand that we have the power. And sitting in the circle, discussing, and having a team for every month, I mean, I find that brilliant. So I congratulate you for that. It's really, really, really amazing. It's really amazing.
It's been a beautiful journey that it's kind of unfolding. It's as the energies on the planet are shifting, because we're being bombarded by energies at the moment. We're moving through the photon belt, and the Schumann resonance. The Earth is raising she's raising her vibration, and we are raising our vibration with her. So we're shifting, and so this group is shifting. We're working, with Mother Earth in this group, and what's so beautiful is where we have people from lots of different locations around the world. It's almost like anchoring that light, in different places and working together. So it's very, very beautiful process.
Oh, thank you. Expressa said, thank you, Sarah, for bringing this topic into a very key issue to handle. Working in community through a collaborative spirit makes people know more about themselves. Yes, we agree on that, Expressa. It's true. It's so true. And thank you, Sarah. I'm going to say that in the middle of the Truth Runners, for being that light, for being that light worker, for being that beautiful soul you are. I mean, yes, we need beautiful souls like you, because when you bring your community together and you work together, it's not just your vibration and your frequency raise, but as you said, the earth raises this vibration. But when we do that in circle and in different points of the world, oh my God, that's amazing. That's all I am about. So.
Oh, and thank you. I was just about to say thank you, Christina, because you're a bright light. You're shining your bright light also.
Thank you. Oh. So this is how we create a new earth. Please understand, guys. This Truth Runner show and every show and everybody I'm talking to and bringing in, like Sarah, I really, really would love to spread the message that we are powerful. We are all light. We can all heal each other, and we can work in community. It's not true that we have to compete, okay? We can collaborate, and we go much further if we collaborate than we compete. That's something. Right?
Just one more thing about creating new earth, just responding to what you've said there, is the thing about new earth is we're moving towards it, and it is a different state of being that's much more heart-based and collaborative, and there's certain principles that are kind of go along with new earth community, but as to what that looks like, it's not written yet. It's unfolding, so it's kind of beyond our wildest imaginings, really. When we all start to come into our hearts and create together in a beautiful way, what that will look like is, it could be anything. It's just so beautiful. So this year, especially 2023, in terms of the astrology, there's been a lot of, in 20 to 22, there was a lot of Saturn energy, which is all about restrictions. But we're starting to move into Aquarius, which is much more this kind of community building. And, it is very much at the new beginning of it. So in a way, this year, but or our futures, that it's like an open book that can be written, so it's a very creative process, and just encouraging people to connect with their authentic self and be themselves and express that, and find what it is that they want to contribute to this unfolding. That's really what I encourage people to do.
Thank you. Reverend Josie, thank you. Thanks for the invitation. Yes, you can contact Sarah and she can guide you how you can join the community. That's absolutely brilliant. And if you allow me, I would love to move a little bit to your new role, because you just got a new role as International Ambassador for the People Health Alliance for Portugal. And this is amazing, amazing, amazing. Would you love to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I would love to share. So, firstly, it's felt very organic and natural. This whole kind of stepping into this new aspect, because it really relates so strongly to this what we've been talking about. New Earth,
Exactly.
and I've been involved a little while. I found out about the People's Health Alliance. So just in case people don't know what the People's Health Alliance is, I'll just give a little bit of an introduction first, and then I'll say about what I've been doing. So the People's Health Alliance formed last year, so it's very, very new. A group of people coming together in the UK who had become dissatisfied with the healthcare service that they were getting in the UK.
There are a few.
You're in the UK. Waiting lists has always been an issue in the UK, but it's just, I think over the last 2-3 years, it's just become incredibly bad. I think cancer, the wait for cancer is at an all-time high. It's never been so long. And I heard some statistics that people can wait for 3 months just for a doctor's appointment. So basically, the People's Health Alliance was formed, to fill a gap and to give people the service that they really deserve, rather than this kind of half service. And the principle behind it was, whilst it does have this allopathic aspect to it, there are allopathic doctors, that have become disillusioned as well with working in hospitals, etc., who are involved in this. There's quite a few medical doctors. It's also alternative practitioners coming together with the doctors to really provide an integrated approach. And the concept behind it is self-responsibility. That's the principle. So the idea is that you kind of have a bit of a tiered approach, so that we're starting to, through our networking, through the communities that are forming through the People's Health Alliance, you have this network of skills that can be on a very local level. People are setting up hubs sort of throughout the UK, but also throughout the world. It's become very international, and it's in loads of countries now. So basically, you could go along to your hub and you could see what's on offer. Find out if there's a local hub in your area. And, if you're a practitioner, you could offer your services and get involved. And what actually starts to happen is it becomes a much, much larger net, for a patient. Because if a patient, for example, went to the doctor now, and let's just say that they had a terminal diagnosis, what the doctor's actually saying to them is, I can't help you, by giving them a terminal diagnosis. And whilst, sometimes we do need to go to the doctor, sometimes there's very, very valuable, we need to have surgery. And it's very, very valuable that we have that medical support system. There are times when it's best to explore other avenues. For example, if you've had a terminal, it doesn't actually mean that you can't be helped. It means that there's not the help in that area. So if you have an integrated approach where everybody's working together, if one person can't help you, the next person can, and people share that, and also support people to stay in health rather than get ill in the first place, because that part of our default has been, to go to the doctor with, if we have a headache, for example, and get some tablets or whatever. Where actually, a lot of that kind of low level type stuff, digestive issues, those kind of issues are better dealt with, once you know that there's not a serious medical issue, better dealt with by really working with well-being, or even better still, prevention, so that you don't have any issues in the first place. And the PHA really offers that. There's in the UK, there's Wellbeing Wednesday. They do various sort of meditations and things like that. And also there are lots of partners to the People's Health Alliance who are offering, various classes, and so it has a role in education as well. And it's really educating people to take self-responsibility for their own health. And really, have a different approach. So it's incredible work that the People's Health Alliance is doing. I found out about it in the UK, and I'd been following it and everything, but I didn't, there was nothing really happening in Portugal. And then I found that there was a group, but there was only about sort of 10, 13 people or something. And I put out a bit of a shout out and kind of got people involved, and then really started to get involved more and more, and became very interested. And I'm now working with a core team in Portugal, and we're really trying to get it off the ground in Portugal to set it up there. So it's a very, very exciting time.
Wow, that's wonderful, Sarah. You're doing an amazing job, a wonderful job. I love what you said about self-responsibility. Thank you for sharing that, because, let's say the NHS or any kind of hospital, okay? Doctors, they took care of your illness, okay? But we have to take care of our health.
Yes.
Okay? So we are the ones, who have to take care of our health by, just taking care of ourselves, paying attention to ourselves, and really not I'm going to make just a little bit of, for example, in my home country, Romania, what you can see is a lot of advertisements about medicines, medicine for this, medicine for that, take for that, take for headache, take it for that, take it for that. Whereas it would be much easier if we go back to the old remedies, what people used to use, like, I don't know, teas, oils. Reverend Jocelyn, I think you can help me out on this one, essential oils. And there are really a lot of things apart of medication that can actually contribute to our health. So thank you for
That's
mentioning
it.
that.
Yeah, and I mean, it goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning. It's on all levels. That's the physical health, exercise, diet, which we all know about, and recommendations around that. But then, one of the things that they work with the PHA is, rather than mental health, they talk about mental well-being.
Exactly.
Because mental health has so many stigmas. That they're having that different approach and outlook, because people might not want to go along to some kind of mental health thing, but going to a mental well-being thing, that is a very different kind of energy. So
thank you. Okay, we have some comments here. Okay, Jocelyn, this is such a brilliant, amazing, and enlightening session. Thank you, sisters, for your obedience to share. Oh, we thank you so much for watching. I have a brilliant guest. Can't utter enough how great this session is. Bravo, Presta. Teach ourselves how to manage our stress. Yes, we can. Would you like to go on that? Presta said, teach ourselves how to manage our stress. Would you like to go on that, Sarah?
Yeah, well, I mean, the way that we work with Accunect, I was sort of talking a little bit about it in the beginning. We look at the stresses, and work with those things that are setting off. Because everyone is different. I have a client, and he jumps when the toast goes off in the morning. So that's a stress, and so for each of us it's different. So it's it's working. There are various techniques that we can use to calm the nervous system and the vagus nerve, and but we very much work with ways to bring the nervous system out of fight and flight into rest and healing.
Thank
You might
you.
want to talk. You might want to talk a bit about how to manage your stress, because you might have different strategies.
That a lot. I would love to go on this. Love mental well-being. Yes, we love that too. That's why we are sharing about it. A great lesson for teachers. Yes, Shpreta, thank you. As I mentioned, I have a brilliant guest today. So Sarah, a part of your invitation to your group. So guys, if you want, and I encourage you actually to reach out to Sarah and join her group, because that will be absolutely brilliant and you will learn a lot. I'm absolutely sure about that. Where people can find you.
Yeah, well, I believe you're going to be putting my information underneath the video when it's not live. But my website is www.replenishzing.com. So it's like replenishing, but with a Z. Replenish Zing.
Okay, guys, I'm going to put every detail of Sarah. Not sure if below. I think above the video above this live, her website, email address, and Sarah has a beautiful podcast she started recently. Would you like to say about your podcast?
I've started. I mean, because this vision of New Earth, creating New Earth, and really wanting to meet this idea of working together, wanting to meet other sort of New Earth leaders really who are leading the way, and really finding out what other New Earth leaders are doing. So I started this podcast, it's a bi-weekly podcast to just interview other people who are working in different ways, but with the same aim to move into new ways of being. I believe you're going to put my YouTube channel with the video as well, so that people can subscribe. It's totally for free. Subscribe. I've had some incredible speakers on already. So just really loving it, really enjoying kind of connecting with people in that way as well.
Wonderful. I'm going to put Sarah's website, email address for podcast. So guys, please join, please watch and learn. She's an amazing teacher. She is a beautiful light. And before, I know I'm very much aware of the time. I could keep you here forever. But before we finish today's session, I would love to ask you, is there any message? What would you love to share with our audience today who are watching live or are going to watch the replay?
Well, I think there's quite, my message would be that, almost like the time is now, for us to step up and be counted and step into our unique contribution. So I think it's about, really believing in yourself and really, trusting that whatever you're being called to do at this time it will be in alignment. If you're connected with your heart, it will be in alignment. So just really encouraging, because I think we've all been brought up in a time where that wasn't really encouraged. So it does take a little bit of courage, but once you get past that first kind of few steps, there's just such a support network there now, that it really is time for everybody's voice to be heard and enjoyed, with what they have to contribute at this time.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was an absolute pleasure having you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's just been an absolute delight, and I look forward to talking with some other people as well. It sounds like lots of people are interested to talk, so please do reach out. I'm always happy to chat and connect. So
wonderful. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. Thank you for all the likes, hearts, comments. I love you very much. I'm sending you lots of love and light. And until our next meeting, I'm going to say bye for now.
Thank you so much, Christina. Bye bye, everyone. Thank you.